Ay. Guys, I think it was a mistake to just eat the bun, which was a quite dry bun, and so now my throat is a little bit unfunctional. However, guys, aloha, lads and gents, welcome back to a new episode of A Sense of Capital Insights Time. Your host of today, as always, is Julian, and I'm very glad to have you in again. Guys, today it's the 3rd of June 2024. It's 6 p.m. and 2 minutes in Central Europe, actually in Germany. And guys, before we jump into the first live streamed ever investment portfolio update of this channel of A Sense of Capital, I just want to announce a quick disclaimer as always that in the upcoming minutes this will not be financial advice, consultation or whatsoever. And of course there is no guarantee for correctness of the provided data. I'm just a human trying my best. At the end it's more or less entertainment, and I'm sharing my opinions about different kind of investment aspects, and yeah, it's up to you what you're doing with this kind of information. Okay, so I played a little bit with the dog, so maybe there's some hairy event left on my shirt. However, guys, please ignore this. So guys, why I've decided to stream the investment portfolio update live. So first of all, I was basically running out of time capacities, and I thought, okay man, I'm really not highly motivated to do post production work, and so I thought live streaming in the crunch time episode, so when we're backing together the different earnings results live, it's always a great experience. I love to do this, but I don't like to cut and adjust the videos afterwards. So from now on, if everything is working as planned, I will stream everything live and not do anything anymore with post-production. At least I try. That's the target. So what we will talk today about is the investment portfolio update of June 2024. Actually, regularly we always cover the past 30 days, but this time the period consists out of 60 days because I've missed to do the update of May 2024. So today we'll cover a few more stocks. You can see I will always cover or set the high focus on the stocks I'm a shareholder of, and in the top part of the screen you can see the shares I'm a shareholder of or I'm invested in, or the stocks I'm invested in is Alfen, Grab, Hims & Hers, the new one, SentinelOne and StoneCo. And guys, so I would start as always with the activities of the past 30, but in this case 60 days. So as you can see here, a few activities took place. So honestly, I mean, in March I barely did anything, and it was great to experience this kind of stuff. You can check this out in my latest investment portfolio update episode. But this time, or in the past 60 days, a lot of stuff happened. So PERION was, I was a shareholder of 6 stocks, and PERION was ranked on number 2. So I was really a favorable position from my perspective. I can't deny this. And you can see even that on 4th and on 8th of April, even on 8th, it was a kind of a mistake because it was a pre-set up order. However, I even invested more money in PERION. And on 9th of April, as you can see, I de-invested the complete position. I sold the complete position with a loss of roughly $10,000. Never even closely lost so much money on the stock market. It is how it is. But guys, what happened actually? I will share right now the screen, as you can see here. And that have been the news on 8th of April 2024. PERION announced preliminary Q1 2024 financial results. And okay, that's nothing too special. But in this case, the cut was really strong. It was a deep one. As you can see here in the table, the revenue 2023 was 743 million. The guidance was 870 million, and then it was dropped down by roughly 170 million US dollars, and adjusted the EBITDA level was touched as well very, very strongly. You can see a cut by more than 50%. And why was this the reason? So basically A huge income was achieved by the Microsoft Bing search business, advertisement business, and due to new conditions between Microsoft and PERION, PERION suffered. The results will suffer during this ongoing business year. And that basically was something which was not 100% that new actually, and unexpected, but not at this time. So they had agreements together, and it was expected they will extend the agreement, the business partnership at Q3, Q4 2024, and that already in Q1. So really some unexpected stuff. And I honestly, guys, I want to be here as well very transparent. I promoted the stock a few times here over the channel. I of course always add, guys, make sure you do your own research, your own evaluation. Yeah, it's up to you what you're doing with your money. And I'm happy that I mentioned this because I by myself was negatively surprised. It was not because of the news already. I mean, I in my front actually I prepared myself. I wrote down some bullet points, some specific parameters why I've sold it. And first of all, it was the bad feeling. I mean, the stock, it dropped from $20 and it was already quite low compared to the past months before. But from $20 on this day, on the next day to or the same day to I think 12, 13 US dollars. Yeah, so really harsh drop, 40%, something like this. And before this drop, I already had bad feeling about it. You can check out my latest investment portfolio update episode, or you can check out the earnings roundup episode. I already tried to cut or distance a little bit myself to my opinion about what I've communicated before. I already start to see some red flags, let's say it like this. And actually, yeah, they took place. I mean, not as I expected, but yeah, if you receive only a limited amount of information from a company and from the management, it can be an indicator that not everything is going that great. And that was one of the learnings which I received out of this experience. If something sounds too good to be true, maybe it is too good to be true. Yeah, it can be the case, cannot be the case. So just to compare it to Hims and Hers, yeah. So PERION was till now a very bad story. No matter, we will see what will bring the future in this case at PERION Networks, yeah, the advertisement company out of Israel. But compared to Hims and Hers, it's now my largest position. You will see it in a moment, and it sounds as well sometimes too good to be true. But in this case, till now, it is true. It is sometimes how it is. You never know what will bring the future, and therefore, yeah, people are right, I guess, that they stating diversification is definitely a huge key factor to success on the long-term base. However, so I sold it because I already had the bad feeling with the management. It was proven by this. Then the main driver, search advertisement by this Bing deal, was more or less gone and destroyed completely. Crazy. And the existing business already struggled slightly. Yeah, so, and I wasn't confident enough that the existing business is strong enough to keep it. Then another aspect is one of my principles is I want to invest in winners. No matter if it's the market leader, no matter it's the technical leader, it's a pioneer and it's upcoming, you know, it's really stepping up the business whatsoever. That is what I like to invest in, this kind of winner companies with a great DNA, you know. And from this point in time on, PERION didn't have this DNA anymore. Primarily because of the major reason, and that was I lost the trust in the management, because this news came out of nowhere somehow. Yeah, because in the past it was always a statement, yeah, maybe they will. There's a risk that they will not extend the business partnership and extend the agreements with Microsoft. But in this case, that really the conditions get cut down that heavily out of nowhere without any warning whatsoever. Didn't feel comfortable for me. You know, I mean, I guess it was legally correct what they did, but it didn't felt really like you have a long future view, you know what you're doing and you have a plan or whatsoever. So I really lost a little bit of trust in the management. I need to know, okay, yet now it's a steal, now it's a bargain, PERION Networks, but primarily because the EV is so low because of the cash position which is existing. And guys, the cash position is I mean, they need to utilize it. Cash is not worth anything if they can't utilize the money, and maybe they just buy back their shares, yeah, and somehow increase by doing this the value of the company. But if they do bad investments, and again, I'm not trusting anymore the management, at least for now. Nobody knows what will bring the future. So I can't. Cash is not worth that much anymore to me, yeah, for sure. And another aspect is, even if they will now perform, it's another story if the market is accepting it, yeah, and is crediting it basically, yeah, the investors, and they achieve again trust and conviction, and the price starts to increase again. That's another part of the business, yeah. So just performing after such an experience is another story than really getting the credits and the respect by the market, yeah. And so for me, I am not about waiting too long, and all this mixture of different kind of aspects resulted in that I sold the position. That's everything I want to state right now to this experience. If you have questions, feel free to leave some comments under or below this video, or send me a DM. I'm always willing to have a chat. But look, if I sell something, I sell something. So PERION is basically right now out of my scope, and we will see what the future brings. Okay, then you can see here I reinvested money. So basically I took the money, the dollar amount which was left, and invested in Alfen, the Dutch electrical hardware grid provider, and Grab, the food delivery and financial provider out of Southeast Asia. So in both I invested some money, $5,500 Alfen, $2,000 roughly in Grab. That was everything what was left, more or less. The rest of the money, I think I needed to cut down some credit or debt or something like this. Not sure anymore actually, but yeah, basically that was the case. And I invested additional amount into Alfen of $2,000 because of the relatively bad earnings results of Q1 2024. And still my level of conviction which is left, of course. And then what was really nice was last Friday, for me at least really nice, I purchased SentinelOne. So guys, SentinelOne is actually almost a romantic story I can tell here. I mean, of course not really, but actually cybersecurity is my favorite sector out of all of them. Not just because of the past half year or year whatsoever. One of my first stocks, like Palo Alto Networks, for instance, is a cybersecurity company, and I was invested in this company. Yeah, so I love the sector, and I was invested as well in SentinelOne in the past already. And you can see, maybe I share quickly my screen. What is SentinelOne before I focus this more? SentinelOne is a company which is headquartered in California in the US. And they're providing different kind of security solutions, digital security solutions like endpoint security, cloud security, and identity security. And on top of this, they provide a platform and additional data and AI services. Yeah, but the major focus, the major driver for now, is for sure the 3 different primary security services they offer. And it's very autonomous, very AI-driven. I think it has something like 4.5 billion market cap or EV. So not that large compared to other stocks. And it's now quite cheaply evaluated. You will see it later on. But I was invested till 1 year ago into the stock. Why I was invested? Actually, guys, I was invested because of... I was invested... or I sold the position because of bad Q1 2023 earnings results, yeah, so 1 year ago. And now actually I repurchased the stocks and even more shares than before because of more or less bad earnings results. I mean, they didn't have been bad, but the market, there was somehow a negative storm, a negative perfect storm because of bad Salesforce results. Some other IT companies provided bad results, and in the end, the revenue guidance was adjusted by just less than 1% of the guidance for 2024, but the stock price dropped to up to 20% actually. Yeah, and I purchased it when it was negative with 12 or 13%, something like this, because it really crossed my price targets. I only have 2 stocks on my watch list. One is this, and the other one I will talk later about. And I was really happy that I had the chance. I was actually on a business trip. Driving with the train, traveling by train. Pressed the purchase button, the buy button, and yeah, very happy to get some shares of it for this price. Even though there's always some risk existing, I'm for sure confident about the future for the stock. Otherwise, I would not purchase it. Yeah, that's basically the case. So 1 year I observed it, and now I finally clicked the purchase button. And what you need to know is that this transaction is completely based on debt. Yeah, so I leveraged it, and the rate is 7.5%. So for the interest rate, so for sure not cheap. For sure not cheap. But it is how it is. Yeah, sometimes you can't change things. But however, guys, let's go on. So that's my new family member. Let's say it like this. And that's everything about the activities, and I hope there will not be so many activities anymore going on in the upcoming 30 days, but who knows. Here you can see the holdings in which I'm invested in. You can see on the first glance, when you take a look at the value column, that a part of Hims & Hers, all our other stocks have a size of roughly $10,000 US, a little bit more sometimes, but roughly $10,000 US. It's a little bit the result of by accidents, by coincidence. But on the other hand, I always make sure that the position doesn't get too small. And if I'm still convinced and the position gets smaller, then I get something for a cheaper price. So I invest more money. Yeah, it's simple like this. And why is Hims so big? Yeah, basically because I never invested in any other stock in my life that much money, and even though it was not the huge amount, it was roughly let's say a huge amount depending who you are, where you live, but it was roughly like 19,000 euros. Yeah, and you can see now we are talking about $40,000 US, crazy, and I'm not planning to cut off and sell a portion of it right now because I see actually more potential in the future. Yeah, and you can see do the purchase of SentinelOne as well, and that I sold PERION position, which is located in Israel. Now 50% of my portfolio is covered by stocks or by companies which are located and headquartered in the US. Nothing negative. I guess a lot of other investors out there have even a higher investment rate into the market. However, I would love on the long term to have a little bit lower part invested into the US region. Yeah, that is, I think, something what I can honestly say. Let's talk quickly about the valuation, and let's start maybe first with my new company. I'm a shareholder of SentinelOne. So on the first glance, it seems like it's quite expensive, because when you see the expected 2024-2025 EV sales ratio of 4.6, looks quite large compared to Alfen with 1.2, for instance, but as well to the others. Yeah, so there's definitely a gap of in this direction, and as well the fair price multiplicator with 1.3, which doesn't mean that it's 1.3 times the valuation would be correct compared to now. So let's say it costs now $10 US, actually it should be priced on $13 US. That's not the meaning of it. It's just a tool to compare it to other companies like the others you can see here. And yeah, by taking a look at it, only Grab is, from my perspective, more expensive at the moment than SentinelOne. However, keep in mind, guys, we're talking about the cybersecurity sector. Other companies like CrowdStrike, like Zscaler, like Palo Alto Networks, like Fortinet, a lot of this kind of companies have way higher valuations. Yeah, way higher, especially CrowdStrike, which is the direct competitor to SentinelOne. So if you might be interested in SentinelOne, who knows, CrowdStrike could be a CrowdStrike. SentinelOne could be an alternative company, an investment case for you. Yeah, so check out and make your research. However, you can see that all of the stocks, when you take a look in the fair price multiplicator column of last Friday, 31 of May, all of them apart Alfen basically are not that cheap anymore. I mean, when I start to invest in a lot of companies, the fair price multiplicator was something like 3.5, something like this, 4. Even Hims and Hers was a few weeks ago very cheap. That's not the case anymore. I think it's still reasonably priced, especially because the performance of the earnings, as you can see here, marked with a plus in the latest earnings column, was almost flawless, you can already tell it from my perspective at least. And therefore it's not expensive in my perspective. If I would not be invested, I would still invest in Hims, honestly, guys. And I think others share this opinion, because till today, I think even now, today the stock is 7% up. So yeah, the market is sharing the opinion, I guess. However, when we talk about the overall earnings, you can see 1 time positive with Hims and Hers, 3 times neutral, and 2 times negative. StoneCo was not that strongly negative, that was okay, but Alfen was really, really negative. They had a strong miss in terms of the battery systems, battery storage systems they're providing for wind farms, for solar farms, for petrol stations, for festivals, for this kind of occasions. And yeah, so that was really negative. So it's reasonable why the price was tanking, and now the valuation is very, very low. However, or the market is evaluating the stock very, very low. I can relate to it. However, I stay loyal and I want to give the stock a little bit more time, let's say 1 to 2 earnings results or quarters, and hope it will develop in this period in the right direction. So now we will take a focus on the performance. And as you can see, I mean, basically it's all eyes on Hims. When we take a look at the top left pillar chart with the yield per month, 53% almost in 1 month, crazy, especially when we take a look on the next sheet that Hims and Hers already had experienced hell of a run in the past weeks and months, so crazy. But I don't want to miss out new as well with 7%, roughly 7% in the green, very positive, always making achieving progress on a solid base. Sometimes I like this more than this rough directions and rough movements, like in case of Hims and Hers. So very happy with new as well. And when we take a negative look, of course, SentinelOne is leading, but luckily I just invested last Friday into the stock, so I didn't covered and tanked through the whole negative experience. And yeah, that's the case when we talk about yield per month. When we take a look at yield year to date as well, Hims and new on a very, very, very solid base when we talk just about the past 5 months, and Alfen with roughly 50% in the red. That's definitely not something positive. 26% of StoneCo is okay because it had a great run in 2023, and it's just, I think, very healthy for the company, for the valuation. If it here and there has a setback and resets a little bit in terms of the pricing, but Alfen tanked, still is catching for convictions in direction in regard of the investors. Not sure if they will achieve it or not. However, I stick to this position and want to give it more time, and not want to make the same mistake like I did 1 year ago with SentinelOne, that I lost trust very, very quickly. I think sometimes companies just need a certain level of time and period of time, and 1 or 2 earnings results are not enough. Especially when, like in case of Alfen, the management stated that it takes 1 year or something like this to recover the business, and yeah, 1 year for this 1 year end of this period, I think it takes at least 3 months more. And yield since acquisition as well, you can see what I've told already. StoneCo, even though it looks bad on the other both charts, and from this acquisition from this perspective on, with roughly 30%. Everything looks very positive from my perspective. And even Alfen with not even 20% negative, it looks good. But guys, let's stay transparent here as well. As I mentioned at the beginning of this stream, I sold PERION, and PERION I sold it with 30% minus or something like this, and 10,000 in the red, 10,000 US dollars in the red. So it's not stated here anymore, but this is what we should keep in mind when we talk about the performance. And here basically you can see the same what you have already seen before. And guys, if I don't want to set the high focus on this sheet, you can push the pause button if you like, but I just want to state here, you can see it on the first glance, Alfen, SentinelOne, bad performance, yeah, and Himson-Hurst by far the strongest winner. New, still very, very strong, nothing negative about it, you know. Very good from my perspective, long-term potential existing in new, had really good revenue beat, last earnings results, and definitely convinced by this. But Himson-Hurst is just flawless what they are bringing on the table currently. It's crazy, simply crazy. Yeah, and you can see here as well development of the benchmark. Of course, the volatility is way lower. Yeah, sometimes I'm losing way more, sometimes my portfolio winning way more. Man, that is something not unexpected, and that's something what you need to live with if you are a growth investor, and if you invest just in a handful of stocks, or handful plus one finger, because we're actually talking about 6 companies. So we come already to the finish line of today's investment portfolio update. So what is about my mood? You can see I pushed the bar from stressed to relaxed. I was quite stressed because I already had the feeling, as I mentioned at the beginning of this call, I already had the feeling that this PERION investment, some awkward stuff is going on, and I'm losing a little bit the trust into it, and I'm not that convinced anymore. So last investment portfolio update 2 months ago, I was not that confident, and the bar was a little bit more in the center of the between stressed and relaxed characteristics. And yeah, you can see it in the headline. Is it greedy or is it justified? And what is greedy, what is justified? So actually, I was already leveraging with debt capital roughly 14,000 US dollars, which was 20%, 15-20%, and now I invested 10,000 or 11,000 US dollars more in SentinelOne, completely debt covered, leveraged. Now I have a debt level of 25% roughly, and yeah, a lot of people, very likely you as well, would call this greedy. I call it justified. If I see some chances, and I'm not, again, my watch list just contains out of 2 stocks, 2 companies, not like I have 20 stocks and I see something which is down, and out of nowhere I want to invest money, and therefore I can't be disciplined, work with discipline, and just react very emotional from now till a minute ago later, you know. That was not a very impulsive situation with SentinelOne. It was long-term planned. I wanted to be invested in it, and for me it's not about how much debt I have in my bank. Of course there's a certain level which is not that nice to feel or talk about, especially when macroeconomic aspects should change and the economy goes down. Then it's not that nice if you lose money in the stock market, if you lose your job, for instance, and you even have a high level of debt. But as long as it's not the worst case, I can live with it and sleep with it very, very well. With this high level of debt, I already had in the past 40% and more. And for me, it's more about in what kind of companies I'm invested in and if I'm feeling well, you know. And I never felt bad because of 40% capital lever. Yeah, that was never the case. It was always the case if something awkward was going on, something what I don't understand at the company, some news which came out of nowhere, something like this. Or I had the feeling, I'm too invested too strongly in one direction, like honestly, I had the feeling right now that I was a little bit more too much invested into the financial sector with Grab, with New and with StoneCo. And now with SentinelOne, I balance it out a little bit. I don't want to cut my positions. I like to just get some debt and invest it in a new position to balance it out. That is what I definitely prefer more. So now I'm feeling very, very relaxed. And another reason for this is earnings season is almost gone, or for my stocks it's done, finalized, finished, and was a good one, as I mentioned. And this is as well always creating a certain level of pressure, on the other hand excitement, and I love to do it. I love to guide it and back it here as well live with my streams, but it's always a little bit pressure and stress, and you never know. I mean, it's very unlikely that when you are a shareholder of 6 stocks that all of them missing all expectations and they're dropping heavily, or the stock price is dropping heavily, but you never know what will bring the future. However, and that's the reason why I use these icons, and I'm bearing the debt on my shoulders, and it's dynamite, it's risky, yeah. So it's part of the business, part of how I invest. I'm not relying on this money I'm invested in, so for me it's absolutely fine, and I mentioned it's okay to leverage it. I'm very sure it's not for everyone anything, so definitely don't recommend it. And definitely don't recommend to start with 25% or even 40% or something like this. Yeah, but it's always up to you guys. And now we come to the last page, and that's the outlook. And you can see a new logo, a new icon of a company which is called GitLab. GitLab, they're providing platforms and software solutions basically for development and operation of software. Yeah, so no matter if you're planning a development process of a software as a software development team, no matter if it's a big one like Alphabet, big company, or Microsoft, or a smaller one like SentinelOne, if you plan to develop software, you update it, you secure this process, you take care of it in the future. Yeah, the whole process, the whole life cycle, this can be covered by the GitLab software platform. And actually, next to SentinelOne, GitLab is the only other company I have since a few weeks on my watch list. Nothing else. Of course, I'm checking a lot of other stuff because it's my hobby to invest money in the stock market. But it's not like I think it's interesting when I observe or if I follow, for instance, Nvidia, but I'm not interested to invest money in it, simply like this. But GitLab and SentinelOne are the only ones, and actually today it's earnings release for GitLab at 4 p.m. Eastern Time, or 10 p.m. Central European Time, and I will take care of it. And I can imagine, I mean, the price already dropped quite heavily, and I like it. It's a little bit for me like a small Adobe. Yeah, very high gross margins, but at the moment definitely not profitable, and the growth is experiencing as well some headwind, so it's not a clear buy. However, in case of the results are okay and the market is not respecting it and the price is tanking, it's getting down, even though it's only a few percent, I can really imagine to invest as well $10,000 on debt and increase the debt, the lever here as well, and push it higher into GitLab. Yeah, so that is what I planned for today, or let's say for tomorrow. So cross my fingers, or I'm asking you to cross your fingers that GitLab achieves okay results, and the price is dropping. It's, I think, $47-48 now. I would love that it drops to something like $45 would be amazing, and then I would definitely hit the buy button. If it's going up, good result, and it's going up, okay, I think I missed the party. It is how it is. But if I invest in debt, I think the valuation should be very reasonable. And for now, I want to see a little bit more drop. Yeah, because it's still above my original price target of something like $45. And if it's performing okay, but the price is rising, which is not unrealistic in my perspective, I miss as well the trade. And if it performs really bad and the price is getting down of the stock, I will ignore it and wait for better times. Yeah, that's what the plan is for today and for the upcoming 30 days basically. And on the other hand, same procedure as every year, the same procedure as every earnings result, investment portfolio update. I'm taking care of the regular debt redemption. Yeah. So as I mentioned, till last Friday it was roughly something like $14,000 US. Now it's $25,000 US. I think it will take a lot of time till I can reduce it. But I guess there is a chance that depending on how my other companies I'm a shareholder of develop in the future and how they perform, there is the chance that, let's say, Alfen or StoneCo, because they have the highest focus in this direction right now, there is the chance or the risk, however you want to frame it, there is a chance that I sell one of those positions if they don't perform that great in the next 1 or 2 results. Yeah. So, and therefore there is the chance that I can balance out the debt level and decrease the level of debt by selling existing positions. However, I don't want to miss the chance to invest right now in SentinelOne, and maybe tomorrow, after today's evening, bad GitLab earnings results. Guys, that was it for today. Let me check if somebody watching. I expect honestly nobody is watching, because I'm not sure about if I would watch my own investment portfolio live stream. Oh, actually there are two viewers. Guys, appreciate this. Amazing that you joined the stream. Yeah, I didn't really expect it, really not, because simply I understand if you join live streams about earnings results because you want to know what is the opinion of another investor about the stocks you are as well a shareholder of. But investment portfolio, maybe it's not that interesting for you. However, I hope it was okay for you to join a stream. I hope you enjoyed the content. If that's the case, feel free to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And you can join as well on my social media structure, no matter if we talk about X, Instagram or Reddit. I as well always share there if I sell something like last Friday, purchase something like last Friday, or if I purchase something in the future maybe as well, like tomorrow with GitLab, who knows. So I always keep my audience here up to date, and as well with news I will take a higher focus in the future. If some news of the stocks I'm a shareholder of will get released and I comment them, so make sure you follow there as well. And that's it for today, guys. So in terms of investment portfolio update, I think we will see each other in roughly 30 days. And in terms of stock news, I will start to do stock news updates again, like I did already in the past, but I will restart to doing this, to launch this episodes live, and I very likely will do this next weekend, let's see. My target is to comment on news of the past 30 days of hims and hers of SentinelOne, etc. Yeah, so don't miss this as well if you are an investor of one of those companies. Guys, that's it for today. Make sure that you do your own research, your own evaluation. Thank you very much for joining. Thank you very much for watching, and looking forward to keep you updated as well in the future. Take care of yourself.